Good evening. Welcome back to Mik'd Up. Excuse the voice. Excuse the voice.
Oh, you sounded so good early, too.
I know. I sounded great. It's all right. Listen, nobody can doubt that I was cheering on our boys last night. We're brought to you by Sterling Automotive.
Same shirt you wore yesterday?
This is during the day. I slept in it, woke up in it. I would like to say the
Played
sun.
in it.
I woke up, the sun was kind of shining.
Oh.
It wasn't raining, it was a little overcast. Sky's not falling as much as everybody wants to believe that it is. It is not. I hope you had a good Labor Day. I know it's not as good as you probably wanted it to be. Obviously, the boys did not pull out the victory. I've heard a lot of negativity. I've heard a lot of
Goddamn negativity.
Goddamn negativity. I heard a lot about, here we go again. I heard a lot about Brian Kelly shouldn't be the guy. I heard a lot about Jaden Daniels. Heard a lot of nonsense about a lot of things that don't make a lot of sense to me. And was the game good last night? No. It was very disappointing. It was a game that we should have won. I believe that it's a game that everybody on the team thinks that they should have won. It was a game that I think if you asked everybody on the team, if you asked the coaching staff, if you asked the people in the stands, they underachieved. They did not play well. But to compare it to the years of old and to compare it to last year, what I saw against UCLA last year and what I saw against Florida State this year do not compare at all. Against UCLA, you saw a defense that was giving up 50-yard plays like it was a 4-yard handoff. You had people running free with 30 yards of separation between guys. You had defenders throwing their hands up, not knowing what the fuck they were doing.
Heck, fuck,
I
shit.
said huck. I said huck.
Fuck it.
They didn't know what they were doing, right? You saw a lot of confusion. You saw a lot of disorganization. Last night, defensively, they weren't good on third downs. They gave up 11 of 17 conversions. Not good. Got to get off the field on third downs. I didn't see a lot of confusion. I saw a lot of effort. I saw a lot of the defense going to the ball and making plays, right? They gave up 3.5 yards a carry to Florida State, which Florida State's run offense is their strength, right? Jordan Travis played well. He made some plays. He did what he was supposed to do, second-year quarterback. There's a lot of things that happened that were not good, but there were some things that I saw, Jared saw, we were watching the game together, that I look at it and I say, look, I'm not saying that's encouraging moving forward, and I'm not saying that it is. What are we doing here?
What is going on over here?
You told me to change my background.
What did you change it to?
I didn't get quite there yet.
Oh my God.
What happened?
What is going
That
on?
was a disaster scenario. We're good.
Oh, I lost my train of thought.
I'm sorry. I just knew you could see it.
Like, oh my God.
But
He's got
I'm
a
not
craving.
saying what happened last night is encouraging. I'm not saying what happened last night is not disappointing. But what I am saying is to go ahead and compare it to what you've seen in the years past, what you saw last year, what you saw the year before. It is not the same. The defense played their asses off. They were on the field for way too long. They did give up too many third down conversions, but they played, I think all in all, I think they played okay. I think that's something that they can build on. Obviously, losing Mason Smith is devastating.
Oh.
That is heartbreaking for him. I feel terrible for him. I feel bad for the defense. But outside of that, I felt like they had things that you can grow from and you can get better with. I don't think that they were the reason why we lost. Also don't think that Jaden Daniels was the reason why we lost. I think that, look, all of the criticism of, he was a one-read run guy. Okay? Maybe he did that a little too much early on in the game. But he was also getting his shit pushed in by the defensive line because he wasn't getting a lot of protection. We weren't super consistent on the offensive line. I think going into the first game of the season, I think that's part of what we said on the show is why we think Jaden Daniels is going to start. Because they're not confident in the offensive line, and they need somebody who can be able to make something out of nothing. Maybe he did have one read move too early. Maybe he had some happy feet early in the game. But as the game progressed, after the first half, because after that first drive, it was pretty bad offensively, I would say, in the first half. They didn't have anything going. Third quarter, not great. End of the third quarter is when it felt like they started making the change. They made the adjustment. They started making different play calls. Jaden Daniels felt like he started getting comfortable. He got in a rhythm. He was getting the ball out of his hand into some of the receivers' hands early on. Listen, he threw the ball 35 times and completed 26 of them.
26, I think.
That's a 75% completion percentage about. Yeah. That's pretty good. Now, miss some throws? Yes. A little late on some throws? Sure. This is his first game with a brand new team, with a brand new scheme, and with a bunch of, you can say, well, he was playing. He had practice for months, right? He's been here for months. That doesn't matter. It's different when you get on the field of play. Whenever things start moving faster and you play against a different team who's scheming to beat you, not against guys you've played with for the last 3 months, right? Not against your teammates who you don't want to, nobody wants to get hurt in August, right? It's different. I thought Jaden Daniels played really well. I thought Gotta Have It drive 99 yards showed a lot about him. Everything was organized. He drove the guys down the field in a minute and 20 seconds. The length of the field, scored a touchdown. Unfortunately, special teams, the Achilles heel of yesterday, it was an issue. Now, I'm not, like I said, I am not saying that it was perfect. I'm not saying that I'm happy. I'm not saying there's no moral victories in this game at all. What I am saying is you cannot compare this to the UCLA game because it is different. We weren't as beaten up this game as we were the UCLA game. We gave ourselves a chance. We were down 14 points with 9 minutes to go. We came all the way back, had a chance to win. Special teams needs to get figured out fast because those two blocking assignments, you can't have field goal, extra points blocked and field goals blocked. Can't happen. That's what I saw. That's my start into the show. We're going to talk a lot more about it. Jordan Jefferson's coming on the show at 6:15. I think he's the perfect person to come on right now and talk about what he saw this weekend.
And the reaction to an LSU fan base.
And the reaction to an LSU fan base because he had to go through some shit when he was here. He wasn't the maybe most popular guy sometimes, but he was extremely talented. He got the Tigers to the national championship game in 2011, and I think he's going to have a pretty good perspective on what he saw and how to move forward and how to grow forward. And listen, I've been in a lot of group texts today with friends from home, friends from Baton Rouge, friends from around the country, and everybody's talking about what's going on, this and that. Everybody has their own opinion. Everybody is entitled to their opinion. And by no means am I right. Does my opinion hold more weight than anybody else? No. But no, it doesn't. I mean, I'm not an expert. All I can tell you is my perspective is a little bit different in the sense that I have played a lot of different types of sports. I've played baseball. You've played football and baseball. You've been in locker rooms. You've been on teams with a completely new teams that you've been together with for years, right? Talent is not the only thing that gives you victories. It takes chemistry. It takes camaraderie. It takes a trust in each other, and that takes time to build. Brian Kelly had 40 scholarship players at the end of last year, brought a whole new team. It takes time. You can't build that. You can only build so much in the offseason. You have to build it when it gets real on the field of play, and I think that's going to take time. The offensive line is probably going to figure their stuff out. It's not going to be pretty for a little bit, but you got to figure out a way. Those are my thoughts. We have Jordan Jefferson coming on in 6 minutes. I want to get some of the guys' thoughts before he gets on. Me and Jay had some really, really cool conversations in the stands. What did you see?
So for me, I didn't see a sky is falling thing. I was a little surprised of some of the bonehead plays and some of the mistakes that we made. You know, you talk about the 2 muff punts. We talk about the shank punt. We talk about
the blocks.
The blocked kicks. Like, I was a little surprised at some of the stuff like that we saw and how easily some of that stuff happened, I guess, if you will. But I feel like those are mistakes that I would put a lot of money on to say that we'll find someone, if we have to change it, that can catch a punt. We'll find someone who won't shank kicks. Maybe it's not the deepest and the best kicks you get, but they won't be shanked. We'll find someone to block up.
He bombed his first one.
Exactly.
But I think that was a report, but not to cut you off, I think that was a report of campus. Like, damn, he hits a 70-yarder, but then he shanks one. Just a little inconsistent.
We'll find someone to block up and fit gaps on our when we're kicking extra points and kicking field goals. Like, I don't really think that that's something that's going to continue to be a problem for us, right? And if it is, So I don't think the person coaching it up is going to be here for long.
Right.
But with that being said, I saw a team, like he said, we watched them play on defense. I saw a team that, besides a flea flicker and one great one-handed catch, name me some other 20-yard, 15-yard games you saw come from this team. I just thought they couldn't get off the field on third down, which, if I had to guess, maybe Mason Smith not being on the field, maybe them not realizing that they weren't going to get home with just 4, and maybe them now realizing, hey, we may need to start bringing pressure, as they go forward in the league. I think that's adjustments that can be made. I saw a team on offense that struggled to put it together at first, that struggled to figure out the puzzle at first. And when they did, and if I remember correctly, there was one drag route that was a late throw to Kayshawn that turned into a drop, where you saw a team completely change because that next drag route ended up being the first touchdown of the game. And it was thrown on time, and it ended up being a touchdown. I think a lot of things changed after that. So I saw a team on offense that took a while to put it together. And when they did, you saw a completely different team. I saw a team on defense that played very well early on, besides getting off the field on third. And then they started trying to play a little bit of hero ball, and everybody trying to make a play because we got a little desperate in there. And still, all in all, we looked at a team with those mistakes and those things that lost by a single point.
A blocked field goal that still almost went in.
A single point.
So
for me, I didn't see, wow, that looked terrible, not a good team, blah, 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 blah. Look, I personally, I don't expect them to win a national championship this year. But what I saw in that game, no matter what the outcome of that game ended up being, doesn't take me off of what my preseason prediction of them was.
And that's what I think that's you saying. I wasn't expecting them to win a national championship. I think that needs to be – we need to manage our expectations of this team. Do I think that we have some extremely talented guys on the team? Absolutely. I think the guy running the ship is extremely well qualified. He's very good at his job. He's a very good coach. I think that we should trust that. But do I think that his first year coming in with a completely – what?
Nothing.
Why'd you look at me like that?
Oh no, I was just looking at my phone. Sorry.
No, you weren't looking straight at my eyes.
You were looking straight at
What do you have to say?
I got nothing to say.
I don't know.
I don't know what that is, but
I mean, are you talking about special teams right now?
I'm talking about our head coach.
Oh no! Oh, okay. Yeah, misheard you. I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about. I heard Brian. Obviously.
You thought you were talking about Brian Polian.
No. Yeah, I mean that's day one stuff. We got to get that figured out.
No. Brian Kelly is the guy running.
Oh, he's
the
good.
ship,
We're good with that.
right? Brian Kelly is good at what he does. He's very successful at what he does. So I just think that we're gonna go out there and everything's gonna be perfect from the first game on. Like we've got to manage that. Now, should we have won that game? Probably. Yeah. We didn't play well. I think they would tell you that. But to say that all is doom and gloom now because we lost against them, I think that's false. And I think that we're going to get better.
I'll just say this too. Like I won't even go as far as to say should we have won that game. No, I don't think we should have. We lost.
I mean, not based off what we saw.
Right. We lost the turnover battle. They missed some kicks. They went for it on the fourth down where I'm like, I don't even understand why they're going for it on the fourth down. They didn't punch it in from inside the 3. Right. They could have easily won this game too. Like so, the way the game was played, I don't think we should have won it. But could we have won that? Very, very.
And I'm talking about more so about before the game started. Right. Like based off of the talent and guys you got. But it's a lot of new guys. It's a lot of guys that have never played with each other in those moments. And the only thing, and one of the big things that's encouraging to me is with a new team, in a situation that comes up when you're down 14 points in the fourth quarter, and guys, people are starting to kind of file out, and you don't really know, you don't know if the guy next to you, you only know what you've seen in fall camp. You don't know what you've seen in the field of battle because you never had to be with these guys, right? So, hey, you're down 14 with 9 minutes to go, and you go out there and you make a play and you score a touchdown. And you go out there and then you get the ball back and your guy muffs a punt. Okay, that sucks. Now we get lucky and we get a gift and we get the fumble back and you have to go 99 yards and you go ahead and do that. I don't care if they're playing prevent defense the whole time. You still got to go 99 yards in a minute and 20 seconds with 2 timeouts and score the touchdown to tie the game. You do that with a new team and a team that you haven't really played with. That shows me a lot.
And to be smart enough to make the plays, and to be smart enough to get out of bounds and stuff like that. Like that's
from a freshman.
That's coaching situations, man. Like guys just don't know that stuff like that. You got to be able to coach those situations up right, and obviously they did because they almost performed that to perfection, right? The Mason Taylor play almost screwed it a little bit. trying really hard to get in there. Maybe should have stepped out a little bit before, but they were still able to come out of a timeout with what, 2 seconds on the clock?
But they were going to run the play
1 second.
regardless.
Yeah,
That's
you
why
have
they had
to.
the Florida State had to call the timeout.
Exactly. So, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, to get things, fitted up that way. And we talked about this, too. They didn't just come out and run some generic dry-ass play. They even had a half-short motion in there just to be able to try to get a feel on the coverage. Like,
and the guy
these
scoring
things are being coached up,
The
man.
guy scoring the touchdown, if you want to say he's too quick to run, was his third progression. The back of the end zone, high ball, back, perfect throw, touchdown.
Right. So if I told you in the beginning of the game that we won this game and that you and everyone who's screaming that Jaden he can't do it, it's not good enough. Well, you watched the kid who was, I won't say run first, but wasn't very comfortable in the pocket early in the game. Things change, and you watched the kid who almost threw a game winner in the back of the end zone on his third progression as he literally scanned the entire field. So if that's what we're doing from the start of the game, then this is where we got to the end of the game. I like our chances of him continuing to get better. Because
Right.
if you can fix things that quickly, and it doesn't take you 3 weeks to fix it.
And Jane Daniels never looked more comfortable than he did in that drive.
Right. And I want to say this. This is not the standard that we have for LSU.
No.
This is not the standard that they have for themselves. All I'm saying, the reason why we're talking about it the way we're talking about it is because I know there's a lot of negative-ass people right now talking about how much we suck and how LSU is not going to be good and Brian Kelly wasn't the right hire. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to show you that there was a little bit of positive stuff, and I'm telling you that there is room to grow, and it's not as far off as you think. Now, there's a lot of things you need to get right and correct, but there's a lot of things that you can look at and say, okay,
It's not broken.
no,
For me, you take out the flea flicker.
it's a process.
You take out the flea flicker.
Is
You
he
take
in there?
out
Is
the.
he in there?
Yeah, I'm looking. I'm waiting.
You
me-
emailed it to him, right?
Huh?
You emailed him
No,
the
was
link.
I supposed to?
I mean, I would hope so.
Yeah, I did.
For me, you take out the flea flicker. You take
Yeah,
out
long
Your
the.
day.
standards are so low for me.
You had a long day yesterday. I don't know.
A long day today.
I don't know. Okay, sorry.
I was just saying, for me, if you take out the flea flicker, you take out the long bomb. I saw a defense that was doing a lot of bending and not breaking.
Right.
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 Which I'm cool with.
I know a lot of great defenses that bend but don't break. So
Shit, you played with them.
I've seen a lot. I've seen it
Listen.
a ton of times.
2 turnovers, 2 muff punts in the red zone, 0 points. Give up 0 points on both of those.
That house.
0 points. Right? Like, defense wasn't the issue. Quarterback wasn't the issue. The issue was offense took too long to get going. Offensive line was very inconsistent, and special teams was god awful.
Yeah.
There's no way around
Yeah.
that. No way.
If you're in that situation as a player, would you rather have gone for it or see them kick it?
I think kick.
No,
go
dude, you
ahead,
got to
go
kick.
ahead.
And the,
I think
reason,
kicking
and the
is
reason
right.
why you have to kick is so imagine if.
Because it feels like you're stealing one,
Well,
right?
because I'm gonna say it 2 ways around. Like Florida State fans may not like this, but if I'm pulling out flea flickers in quarter number 2 of game number 2 of my season, really week number 1 of
And have
real
to
college
have
football
it.
season, and that's was pretty much the thing that lets me know we don't have much faith in what we do. Other side of it is I feel like I got to go for field goal. I got to go for 2 and not use our field goal unit in week 1 of the season. We gonna need that guy somewhere down the line again. And if I'm already putting that message out that hey, you ain't the guy or y'all can't get it done, we're not instilling
Right.
much confidence
No,
in
and
that.
it's
dude.
not
So
the
I don't
kicker's
like that
fault.
at all. I don't like that at all.
It's not the kicker's fault. at all.
No. I wouldn't necessarily blame the kicker. I was just saying it feels like you're stealing one here. Like, this is not
Okay,
the brand of
but
football.
only
that, you know,
I'll ask you this. I mean, did it? I guess because of that situation and how much and not in LSU pass, just in football pass, you see it happen. But did you really sit there and think like after we scored a touchdown, oh, we're for sure not scoring this. We should go.
Right.
for it. No, you didn't think that. So like, what? No, did you really think it? Not did it cross your mind? Did you really think like, oh my God, I can't believe we're sending the kicking team out here? No, there's no way. There's no way you thought that, Lloyd. There is absolutely no way you thought that. Did it cross your mind? Maybe. Did you think that? Really think that? Did that?
I said it out loud. Does that matter?
Here's what I
No,
gotta
because
say.
that doesn't mean you really thought it.
If you asked every Florida State fan if they thought that they were going to win going to overtime, 95% of them would have told you no. Because I asked the guys around me, I asked people walking back to the hotel, I asked my friends that were Florida State guys, I said, hey, how nervous were you when we just scored that touchdown? He said, oh, I didn't have any confidence in us winning in overtime at that point.
Because I guess you take what LSU just did, 99 yards, and how
In
many?
8 minutes, they scored 14 points, and you scored 0. You had the ball in the 2. You fumbled. Like,
And you're
oh,
in New
shit.
Orleans?
Here we go. No, that had nothing to do with it because
Dude, they were.
They traveled well.
They traveled well.
They traveled
and
well.
They took the crowd out of it early on. So the offense, we weren't.
But you go to overtime in New Orleans.
it's over.
LSU
Well,
just scored.
I will say this,
Yeah.
a lot of LSU fans left.
I saw him leave.
They really did.
They were leaving. We didn't go because I was like, oh, we can't leave. Everybody's going. We're gonna wait this thing out. And
After the second muff punt, there was a lot of people that got up and walked out.
Yep.
And talk about the muff punt, dude. How about the defense bowing their necks?
Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that's not what's supposed to happen. That should have been game.
Yeah, but
fumbles happen.
The muff punt shouldn't have happened either. You know what I mean? That's a wash.
Yeah, exactly.
It just took a minute and 30 seconds away
But for
from
them
us.
to get back out there and be like, fuck it. We can stop them here and
Also,
see what happens.
Also, Love. Is he still not in there?
No.
Okay.
I got to call Jordan Jefferson. He's trying to connect right now.
There we go.
There it is.
I do like the fact that Malik was the first.
Tennessee game all over again.
I do like that Malik was the first. Got the first 2 catches on that last drive after the muff punt.
Yeah.
Get him back in there. Hey, you're still one of our guys. We're gonna feed you the rock, and go. That is very unfortunate. I felt terrible for him. Right? It happens in sports. That's the way it goes. And we're gonna get into that about them being kids and being young guys and young men and playing on the field, and these dumbass people trying to come at them on social media. All right, Jordan's in there. We're going to take a 30-second break, and we are going to get us situated and be right back. You're watching Mik'd Up, brought to you by Sterling Automotive.
He's outside somewhere.
Today's show is brought to you by Dos Equis. Here in Louisiana, we like to have a great time. If you're looking to be the life of the tailgate, check out Dos Equis mini kegs. Hold 16 beers, easy to tap, easy to pour, easy to chill. Check it out. Become the life of the party. You're welcome.
You guys hear me? Yeah. You guys hear me? Is it?
Mik'd Up is brought to you by Law Offices of Lance Beal. Call them today, 337-991-6263. They know what it takes to win. Their practice areas include personal injury, small business, family law, estate planning, with an emphasis in construction law. Your choice for reliable representation. 337-991-6263. Mik'd Up is brought to you by Law Offices of Lance Beal. Call them today, 337-991-6263. They know what it takes to win. Their practice areas include personal injury, small business, family law, estate planning, with an emphasis in construction law. Your choice for reliable representation. 337-991-6263. Welcome back to Mik'd Up. We're brought to you by Sterling Automotive. You're gonna have to.
Voice is awesome.
Yeah, it feels good. Feels good. You're gonna have to hear me and Jay Mitch talk about football a little bit longer. Jordan has some connection issues on his side. I can promise you, this is not Lloyd's fault. This is not our fault. Our technology is working.
And it's not George's fault either.
It's not George's fault. It's just the
all new things.
We got a little technology going on.
Internet's crazy. Internet's a crazy thing. We're gonna get him back on though. He'll be back on here. But we were talking about the game, and we're talking about the future of the season and how negativity is not going to do anything but make people miserable. And listen, I love people. Misery likes company. I know people like to be negative.
Misery loves company.
Misery loves company. Loves company. People love to be negative. People love to
Not me.
think this guy. You love it too. You love it a lot.
I've changed.
I'm working
Why do you
on
feel
it.
attacked right there?
I'm working on it. I'm working on it. But what I'm saying is this. Were there a lot of flaws? Of course. Were there a lot of things that you wanted to look different? Of course there were. Do I think that is the end-all, be-all? Do I think this is the product that you're going to see against Mississippi State, that you're going to see against all the other SEC teams? Nope, I do not. I think that we are going to continue to get better. I think that by the time you see us get into the heart of the SEC, I think we're going to look like a completely different team. You're going to find guys that you can count on through the course of the year by putting them in there and them showing you that they belong and that they are guys that you're going to be able to rely on day in and day out. And that's going to take some time. That's going to take some finagling. That's going to take some, trial and error. But I think you saw a lot of guys last night show up when you needed them most. I think Jeray Jenkins showed you that he is about as reliable as they come. Yeah. I think he showed you that he's been here and you can count on him. I think Jaden Daniels showed you that you can count on him. Yeah. And there's a lot of other guys out there that played extremely well. They're going to get overlooked because the game was lost, but I don't think that the issue is as big as people think it is.
What's your take on it, Lloyd? What'd you see?
I wanted to ask you a couple of things. Whenever you played football for LSU, whenever you see somebody like a guy that's supposed to be your one, you see a Kayshon Boutte where it seems a little bit out of sync, but the body language, that kind of stuff. Are you hoping is that something that can be fixed, is what I'm asking? Or is it
I would say from top to bottom.
Like what would you expect from a coaching staff? Like how do you fix it if you were either in the locker room as a leader or on the coaching staff? Like you've seen Brian Kelly call him out literally in public.
Yeah.
If you're on the team and if that's your guy, that's supposed to be your one.
I think it now becomes a thing where if this is what we're seeing a little bit, I say we, not even we, if this is what they're seeing, because if there's stuff like that shows up on game day, that means it probably shows up in practice as well. I think there has to be other leaders on the team that are able to go to him to get him back in the correct mind space if that needs to happen from time to time. I think it's tough for a team, and it doesn't matter if you are the top of the team, meaning like the guy at the top of the list, or you're the walk-on player. Like you have to conduct yourself with good body language, with staying positive to be able to go through the game. I think things like that are important. So I'd like to see him, pick that stuff up, clean it up a little bit, because there are people looking at him as an example.
That's what I'm saying. Because you have young guys on the team, a bunch of transfers. Everybody knows that Booty's Kayshawn is a dude.
No, yeah.
100%. But you have so many new people on the team, and it's like, okay, well, he's the best player here.
Yeah.
So, the
proof
is in the tape.
And I'll say this too. I don't know if any of y'all were able to see this after the second muff punt. It was very easy to visibly see how down Malik was on himself. The first person I saw literally walking with him for 15 to 20 yards on the sideline was Kayshawn with his arm around him, picking him up, telling him the game ain't over before 30 other teams came and talked to Malik. Like, Kayshawn literally took him down under his arm and walked him and talked him off the ledge and helped him out. So I know it's there, but he's got to see that and do that himself as well. And he's got to be able to put that out there all game as well.
And what I respected, and this is kind of not on technical on Kayshawn, what I respected on what Brian Kelly did after the game is Brian Kelly took the blame
immediately
as the staff.
The first
right?
thing he said, yeah.
And now in the past, you've seen people get thrown under the bus. You've gotten people say that, oh, we don't have enough talent here. We don't
or
have enough
evading
talent
the
there.
question.
Huh?
Or evading the question,
yes.
too.
He took responsibility because you know what? It does fall on him.
Yeah.
He understands that, right? And then he was blunt and said, you know what? I may have chosen the wrong person to go and return punts. And that's not an indictment on Malik because he said, before he said he may have been the wrong guy, was I trusted his elite athleticism and his abilities to do the things that he can do. And maybe he just wasn't ready at that time. Look, there's a lot of guys I'm sure you've played with that were unbelievable athletes, but maybe not great punt returners. Yeah. Right? Like,
and I also do think there is a little bit of a grace period when it comes to punt returning. I don't know how much Malik did this in high school, but getting back there in a college game day with the roof over your head for the first time, probably game speed, it takes a little bit of adjusting.
Hey,
I'm not giving him. I am not at all giving him a pass, bro, because if it can't keep happening, or he can't stay back there. But with that being said, like, I would rather something like that happen in game one, whether you win the national championship or you don't, than continuing to happen in game 6, 7, 8, and down the line. That shows me we're not getting better at it.
It also shows me that Brian Kelly is invested in his guys because Brian Kelly put Malik out there in the first 2 plays of that next drive, the gotta have it drive. Malik was the guy who come up with the ball. Right? Like, he understands that he's a big part of this offense, and he has to have. Need him. And you're going to need him. Yeah, you're going to need him. Just like you're going to need Kayshawn, just like you're going to need Noah Kane, just like you're going to need all the guys that you have on offense. Now, you have to figure out how to mesh them all together so everybody can be happy, and they're not necessarily happy, but everybody can eat, right? Yeah. Everybody wants to eat. Everybody wants to, because if Kayshawn's getting the ball and Malik's getting the ball and Noah Kane's getting the ball and Mason Taylor's getting the ball and Jack Besh is getting the ball, hey, we're pretty fucking good.
And speaking of Jack Besh, look, I don't know what happened. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if there's a medical issue. I don't know if there's something going on, but I do think Jack is another guy that they need to get out there even more. I do think he needs to get involved in the offense.
Yeah, and look,
and maybe we'll see that going forward.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And there was a lot of things that I heard.
We don't know why it wasn't. Yeah,
we don't know what happened. Right?
Yeah.
There are some things that I heard that make sense.
Yeah.
Nothing like bad about his character, or nothing about academic setting or anything like that. It was more about physical stuff. Yeah. And I don't want to talk about it because this is all third-party hearsay, and I don't know what's true and what's not, right? But I do know that he didn't have a lot of time on the field in August.
Right.
And I think that there is some injury behind that. I think that's what that has come out. And so I don't know if that has something to do with it or not. I do know that when he is out there, he plays his ass off. He's sure-handed, and he's a guy that you want to get involved, and Brian Kelly has said as much in his press conferences and in his interviews. I don't know why he didn't play. I know he started the game, but he didn't play as much as we probably thought he should play. Yeah.
What the one surprise I did see was the hands of Mason Taylor and the plays he was able to make. What I would like to see, because there was a couple plays that I didn't feel was necessarily his best effort, but he's got to get a little more physical. There were some blocks that could have been made in that thing that, I think as they kind of keep going, it is what it is.
I think that was more about a scheme thing than, and maybe not. Maybe he messed up on what he was supposed to do. Maybe he got confused, but I don't know.
I mean,
we saw it real time on the we didn't get the pleasure of many replays.
I haven't got to watch the game. I will watch it again. But
he went outside first instead of inside. Which
I know, but I don't know if that was because he was told to do that or not.
Well, nobody's
you
ever
wouldn't
been
assume
told
to tell
do
that. I know that.
Ever.
But I mean, you should know that as a guy. So I don't know why you would
If,
think.
that's the other thing I was wondering. I wonder if he's ever even been on field goal protection because I'm too good.
Oh, well, I wasn't talking about those. I was literally talking about offensive plays.
Offensively, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
okay,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah, I
yeah.
wasn't
I mean,
even
they were.
talking about
Oh, dude,
those.
he whiffed a couple times.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's certainly blocking, and that's why. I mean, we talked about
When
how,
I say get physical, that don't really have anything to do with
yeah, that's
with
all. That's all.
extra point
That's
and
just
kicks. Yeah,
shit
that's-
happens.
That's literally just stepping to the right gap and being there.
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
a shield more than you are trying to be super physical.
But you saw some of those things when they had him on like in line trying to protect
Yeah.
because the offensive line is probably LSU's weak point, and that's what we thought would happen, and that's why Jane Daniels is playing. Where do you find a semblance of a run game if you want to get
Right.
like kind of real?
Listen.
for like we've been.
100%.
If there's anything that I'm very, very worried about is you can even go look at the stat, right? You have the running game that Jaden Daniels had because of the ability to scramble, and I don't think we had anybody else that averaged more than 3.5 yards per carry.
You can't win. You can't win
That's
consistently
going to be very
that way.
tough. It's
You
gonna
can't
be very
win
tough.
when your quarterback
They
has
have to
your-
have some
yeah.
kind of real balance.
Exactly.
That's going to be
And I think the left side of the line played better than the rest of the line, right? The center on to the right. But, and we've talked about it, the offensive line is the most important position on the field that requires the most
cohesive.
cohesiveness, continuity, chemistry, right? And
Everybody's working to confuse you.
Yes, exactly.
That's literally what they're doing.
And I think that takes some time to build, and it sucks because you want it to happen right away, right? I think you're going to see some adjustments on the offensive line. You're going to see some guys. You saw some in the game. Guys got taken out. Guys got put in. Like, you're going to see some guys get moved around, right? What I don't like to see, and there are some things that were put out on social media and things like that about guys on the team saying things. Everybody wants to play, and everybody thinks they can help. And I hope that's the case. I hope everybody gets an opportunity to show that they can play. But you want everybody on the team pulling in the same direction.
Yeah.
You don't want people thinking they can do something better than somebody else, and they may think that. You just don't want them vocalizing it and making it. You don't want there to be a rift in the team, right? You want everybody pulling in the same direction, and everybody making a big deal about the pettiness of like taking all the LSU stuff off. Like, whatever. That's the life we live. That's the world we live in now is social media. I think that was more because they don't want to. People are ruthless on social media. People
I'll say this.
grown men are hammering these young men
I'll say
for
this.
a game.
I'll
And
say
that's
this.
not right.
That's fine. If y'all want to take it off, if the guys want to take it off, if that's something they want to do, let's just not have this next whatever game becomes. If you win next week and
We
you have
back.
a great game, don't add it back.
Right.
It's not a good look.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
No
if
doubt.
this is what you want to do,
That's fine.
go ahead.
And if
But
you're doing it for the
can't-
reasons that
but
you
it can't be this.
right, and if you're doing it for the reasons that are reported of why you're doing it is because the negativity. Like I'm all
Right.
for removing the
And
negativity.
that's what I mean. You can't run away from the negativity, and when people want to tell you that you're the best and you're
Yep.
on top of the mountain, you tell them to give it all. Then I'm not saying that that's what they're doing now. I'm just saying that if this is the route you've taken, it can't come back next week if you win by 21.
Yeah.
You know, it just can't.
It's hard because it was such a disappointing game. You had a lot of anticipation going towards the game, and you're playing Florida State, who hasn't been very good recently, and you felt like it was a game that you should have won. I felt that. You felt that. You felt that. Everybody felt that, right? But and I'm not saying that Florida State's going to be great. Maybe they're better than they have been.
Well, this isn't a UCLA scenario
No, it's
where
not.
everybody a bunch of people last year, whenever you watched the UCLA game, they're like, "Well, maybe UCLA is better than we think they are." That's not the case.
No,
We know
because
what
there was a lot of
Florida-
confusion,
Right.
And on our side, on the LSU side, like there was a lot of confusion on the defense. There was a lot of confusion on the offense. There was a lot of, oh man,
and there was some of that yesterday.
not much.
not
but
as-
not
not
the same
much.
way.
And it wasn't the
exactly.
same-
No, that's what I'm saying.
same
There was
type.
some of it, but it was
wasn't.
not.
like that. Like,
It
just
wasn't.
didn't-
Cornerbacks and safeties and linebackers weren't looking at each other like, where are we supposed to be?
And somebody's running 60 yards behind
That-
you.
That's what I'm
You
saying.
didn't have
yeah.
that.
Right.
You did not have
That's
that.
a win.
And with a guy who can run around like
They have
Jordan
Travis
Travis
Hunter?
can do.
Well, not just that too. They have so much misdirection in that offense. Like it's easy to blow assignments in that.
Yep.
And then you didn't see that happening a lot.
Flea flicker, obviously, trick play. That's what's supposed to happen. You had a guy get a deep ball with the one-handed catch and the pass interference. Fine. You had a couple of we have him sacked, we don't have him sacked. Great play by this guy. But you didn't have a lot of 30, 40-yard gains. You didn't have any of that.
Two
No bust.
things I love to see on the defensive side going forward. Whether it's because of play call or we thought we'd be able to get home with him and we were not, I'd like to see him start pressuring more on third downs, on the money down. Using 4 pretty much that entire game. They were not getting home, and I don't think we got off of that like we should have to try to get the ball out quicker. The second thing is the only, and it didn't really come back to bite us. Well, I guess it kind of did if you really want to say it. I felt like it could have bitten us a lot more in that game. I didn't see many DBs turning heads once the ball got in the air.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of guys trying to play through hands by keeping eyes on eyes, and at some point in the game, I'm going to need you to turn around and play center field and find the ball and make a play on the ball too, instead of just making a play on the player. Because what's going to happen
Show me some ball skills.
Because what's going to happen is if you're going to play 8 SEC games, you're going to run into 5 at least dogs at the receiver spot, and they're going to embarrass you if you play it like that all year.
Because if you're going to go and you're just going to look at their hands, they're going to go late hands, they're going to back shoulder you, and they are going to march you.
If you remember, there was a drop touchdown when he tried to shoot late hands. So we got to start being able to, like I said, turn your head, play center field, find the ball, and make a play too. I don't think we did that very well.
Is that teachable or is that just?
No, it's teachable.
It's not about teachable. That's from what I've learned. No. From what I've learned, that becomes no. From what I learned, that becomes trust.
Yeah.
Trust in the work that you've done. Trust in the position that you're in.
And phase.
That you could turn around and still make the play. A lot of those guys feel like they're beat. So they feel like, I can't turn around because if I turn around, I'm for sure going to lose him. And he's going to get even more separation. Instead of understanding like, hey, I'm in a decent enough spot. Turn around, find the ball, and make a play.
Comes from being comfortable.
It becomes a trust in the work that you've done already on that play. As opposed to feeling like I'm playing trail, got to catch up.
But if you as a wide receiver, when you see somebody and you feel that, where they're like, oh, they ain't getting their head around. Like, are you not going back to the quarterback?
I mean, you're always taught to shoot hands late anyway. So like,
well, yeah, you have to.
So I mean, like, there's not.
I can break it up and get lucky.
Dude, there's very few like super advanced, and I don't think
Derek Stingley Jr.
No, I don't ever think I remember seeing like wide receivers even at the college level that can kind of give you an eye.
I love Lloyd tries to finish your thought.
Well, no, I'm talking about guys that get their head. Like,
I know, but he was talking receivers.
Yeah,
I was talking about receivers in the sense of like there's not many
put him
guys.
At receiver, shit.
There's not many guys I've seen that can give you like the eye fake or the shoot hands or feet and still track a ball down correctly. So like that's not really a thing. You're just taught your hands have to shoot as late as possible. Why? One, because you don't lose speed, right? I got to keep running through the ball, right? So we don't shoot hands until late as possible. But from the defensive side of that, you have to learn how to trust the position you're in out of the break, turn around and make a play. Turn around and make a play on the ball. And I think that's something they're going to have to start doing more as this season goes on. There's a couple of those that might turn into big touchdowns.
And you want to see our receivers start doing that too.
Yeah, of course.
Right? You want to see our receivers start making plays on balls. You want them to, because you know how talented they are.
Yeah.
And I think that I would like to think that they started to find that out as a coaching staff and as a play call with the play calling towards the end of the game. And I think that's something, if you want to build on something, I think that is something you can build on.
Yeah.
I think that's something that you say, okay, listen, we weren't very good for 3 quarters basically, but for the 4th quarter and, down 14 points.
I mean,
tempo, rhythm, that was important.
And the thing is, like, I don't mean to cut you off, but like it makes me think about, like, we sit here and we talk about, we thought this team was so bad and they struggled so much and this and that. And here you are sitting here with the ball on the 1-yard line with less than a minute left and 2 timeouts. Coach, y'all forgetting in 2011 we watched a team who didn't score, who made it to the natty, and we couldn't even score in that. So to be in that situation right there and say, this team's bad, it ain't going to get there, like, that's very much a lot to look up to. I don't care who they played. It's not easy to do it. I don't care who it's against. That is a very, very tough situation to go down and do.
In a gotta-have-it situation. Like, in the part where you say, hey,
the
game is over.
Time. It's crunch. It is nut cutting as it gets right there.
I mean, listen, there's no moral victories in this thing.
And I'm not.
And I'm not saying it's a moral victory.
I'm not at all. Because, like, here's the thing. I don't care if they win the next 2 games. If you keep seeing drop punts, if you keep seeing not getting off the field on 3rd downs, whether it's not a mistake, you're not going to win very many games.
But isn't that kind of what we wanted to see not happen?
No,
right?
it wasn't. Not for me. That hasn't been the problem the last couple of years. The problem the last couple of years has been guys running wide open. Has been blown assignments.
Confusions.
Has been we can't drive the ball and sustain drive. That hasn't been the problem. So that's why for me, I'm like, well, I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh, here goes another team that can't catch punts. That hasn't been a problem. Here goes another team that can't make kicks. That hasn't really been a problem.
So that's not what we're looking anticipating. Now,
No,
obviously,
no. That's not what I was talking about. I don't really want to get into the special teams thing. I feel like we know what happened there. I was more talking about, were they as in sync in terms of just a full team as you thought they would be? Because
I thought they looked very organized.
Okay.
I'm gonna be
I
completely
did.
honest
And
with you.
listen, as far as production and like who's gonna be who's gonna be the dogs on the team, who's gonna be the guys, that's gonna show itself on the field of play. Like you can't expect to go game one like you hope that would be the case. Like game one, everything's perfect, everybody's playing at the top of their game, but like that's gonna show itself as the season progresses. Unfortunately, it didn't show itself early enough yesterday for them to win, but that is going to show. Like you're going to find the guys.
If we're being completely honest too, like New Orleans yesterday, believe it or not, was a very, very. That's about as neutral as I've ever gone to an LSU game and seen that place. And so we didn't sit here and see many pre-snap penalties on either side of the ball, right? That's organization, man. Like these guys have discipline. Now it's about making plays in situations like that, which I expect those things to happen.
Right. And now what I do want to see. Now, I will have a different tune in 2, 3, 4 weeks from now if I don't see a difference.
Yeah.
Right? If after the Southern game is going to be different. It's going to be a different type of team. It's not going to be the level of competition. Now, they did win. What was the score?
86-0.
86-0 last week.
They had a good game, yeah.
It's not the level of competition that Florida State is. It's not the level of competition that Mississippi State's going to be or any of the SEC
I got to see if I can
teams.
make this bet. I got a cousin of mine who is a huge Florida State Southern's fan, and he tends to think that Southern's gonna win by 14. So I gotta see if I can make a bet with him because I would love, I'd like to make this.
Now
bet.
listen, if
There's
Southern,
not even going to be a spread on
If he's
that
listening,
game.
he
if
knows who
Southern
he
wins
is
by
right now.
14 points, Brian Kelly probably should get fired.
He might not wait until week 3. Anyway,
That's fair.
Anyway,
I mean,
that's.
But what I'm saying is,
yeah.
you get through that game, you go to Mississippi State. If you still see the same issues that are happening in Mississippi State that happened at Florida State and nothing got fixed, okay, I'm going to get a little worried. You see the same issues again? Okay. Obviously, they're not buying into you, or it's something what you're saying or what you're doing isn't hitting home with them. And that's not why we brought you in here, right? But I don't foresee that happening.
I feel like I watched a lot of gang tackling. I watched a lot of open field tackles being made. I didn't see
Can we see more Harold Perkins, please?
over and over. That'd be great to have him on the
Except
field.
for that personal foul.
Making the right
That
plays.
wasn't his fault. Hey, second man.
Yeah,
that
was
wasn't his
the
fault.
second
You can't
man.
throw a punch
Don't
at
be
the
the
guy.
second man.
That's what I mean. That is his
Well, he's a
fault.
freshman.
Well,
It doesn't matter. It's
You
his
still
fault.
gotta know not to punch the guy in the face.
That's
on
his
kickoff.
fault. You can't. That's no excuse.
Just like Ali Gay's got to know better as a fifth-year senior.
No,
not
I'm
to
glad
head dive
Ali
the
Gay did
quarterback.
that.
Not
We got to
me.
send a message.
Not me. This guy's an idiot. This guy would be the worst head coach ever.
We
Hey,
definitely-
I'm happy you
we
got
definitely
ejected.
couldn't have you in that.
Hell
We
yeah.
lost our two of our top 3 defenders. I'm happy.
Lloyd's version of Bounty Gate over here.
I'm just saying, if you're going to target, let's target.
Oh,
and he
my
targeted. That was
that was-
There was a guy sitting in front of me goes, I don't know how they're going to call that targeting. I was like, brother, that is...
That's the
That's,
definition of target.
that's 1-1 in the dictionary. That's aardvark. That's the first word they got in there.
Oh,
it was
man.
unbelievable.
Yeah,
I was like,
that was
he's like, I just don't know how they're going to throw him out. It's like, because of that on the replay right
That
there.
Will
right
you
there,
tell me what
actually.
other part of him hit his body besides his helmet?
He just
'Cause I
went
don't
straight-
think anything else did.
He didn't even get the shove off.
I'm
in
pretty
time
sure his
because
shoulder
Jordan
pad didn't
fell-
even touch him.
He hit him so hard with the head, his push didn't even get off. Like he was already gone by the time his hands went to push him.
Just straight crown.
Yeah, just straight helmet. But yeah, the targeting and Harold punching the guy in the face was the only undisciplined things I saw.
Do you think that this might be the worst that LSU looks all year? Like,
It should
Maybe.
be.
I hope that's the
that's
case.
kind of the feeling I have. Like, I
Yes.
know I've been not the most optimistic person about the LSU season, but
If you told me before this game started that they were going to lose to Florida State,
Like that, but the missed extra point?
I'd say hold it. No, just said they were lose. We didn't give me a score or anything. I would have probably told you, holy shit, they might not have a winning season again. After seeing that game, I'm not really moving off of the 8 to 9 win prediction.
Yeah. Now 9 wins would be.
Now 9 wins because you lost to Florida State. If you're looking at the schedule, they're gonna have to steal one somewhere else.
No, I think
so like that's
8
gonna make it harder.
I think
but
8 is
I
still in
do think
play.
it's possible.
And listen, I know people laugh at me. My friends that are close to me laugh at me because I'm super optimistic about certain things. But I'm not blinded. This isn't like baseless optimism for me. Like I am going off of what I see and what I know as an athlete and how
because Trevor Simmons can spin the shit out of it, so you just gotta.
Hey, yeah, you're right. That's a good point.
Nah, but for real,
But
I'm with you.
I'm going based off of what I saw. It wasn't pretty.
You get us to the playoffs.
It wasn't the things that I wanted. It was it wasn't all negative for me. Right? Like
No, it wasn't a debacle. It wasn't to where you got to the point where you saw LSU play like
some of the mistakes I saw kind of left me speechless, and I'm just like, kind of shocked we actually didn't make that play, or kind of shocked that happened. Not like, oh, here we go again. Like it wasn't that type of thing for me.
Yeah, exactly. It wasn't the UCLA game. It wasn't the
No.
Mississippi State game where you're
No.
going, oh no, like
No.
I don't think this is fixable.
No.
And that's what it felt like the past 2 years. This was like, it wasn't pretty. But then when you put everything together as a collective of entire new coaching staff, a roster full of transfers that have never played a real football game together.
How many times do you think you would have seen in LSU history too? I want you to like really think back. How many times do you think you would have seen that last play before the touchdown thrown, where Mason goes out, where Mason doesn't go out of bounds, knee gets down? I get it, bro. They gave them a ton of time, to figure it out, put a play together. How many times do you
They
think
were running that play regardless. They never moved their formation.
But my point is how many times do you think you would have seen them come out with that little bit of a time on the clock and to be able to be, I'd say, organized enough to draw up a play where we're running a short back and forth motion, right? So we're trying to get some kind of pre-snap read on what's going on with that little bit of a time. Like that's coaching to be able to do that. Coaching to be able to trust your guys to go in that situation, not screw it up, get it done in time, and get the snap off. Like, that's good coaching.
That's coaching to the point where, like, we actually have a highlighted section of, like, 2-point conversion plays or, like, inside the red zone plays.
Yeah.
Like, this
And
is
they
what's
know
going,
them.
This is going to
And
work.
they know them.
Like, 'cause I was watching the game. I was there. But, like, as much time as it took to get whatever the hell they were trying to figure out, I don't know what was going on because we were there, so I couldn't hear, like, the broadcast. I'm not old enough yet to where I'm putting in the headphones.
Yeah, I don't know why it took so long to fill.
But
there was
regardless, but they never really, like, the offense never really left the field. They left, came back, and they got in the exact same formation. So they knew that there was a play that they thought would work. And kudos to Jaden Daniels where he went 1-2 back of the end zone touchdown. And that kind of stuff is what we didn't see the past 2 years.
Exactly. So, like, for me, I get it, man. Like, we keep looking at the muff punts. We keep talking about that. We keep talking about, but, like, what I saw was a team that played organized way more than what we're giving them credit for and more than what the problems have been in the past. And I didn't expect to see that if I saw quote unquote, a losing effort. I was encouraged by it.
I agree.
I don't
agree
like
too.
that they lost, but I was encouraged by it.
But don't you feel like if they'd have won, it didn't feel like a real win? It would have been.
No, you take everyone you can get.
Yeah, okay.
That shit don't matter.
Get me
I
out of
don't
here.
care.
Get me on the
Take
bus.
Take the dub and figure out the problems when you get at home.
Yeah, it would have been nice to get.
But usually
to-
what
Well,
happens
listen,
is,
of course,
usually
it
what
felt like a
happens is,
steal.
but usually what happens is when you take dubs in games like that, you don't
You
address
don't
the
catch
stuff.
one on the back end.
You don't address the stuff that needs to really be addressed.
Yeah.
You kind of let some things slide. You kind of, you don't take it as serious. So, maybe it could be a little stepping stone, a little learning block for them, and they move forward.
Do you think Neighbors return punts?
No.
Next week,
No.
probably not. I'd be kind of surprised if he was back there. But if he
Get
is,
it off his plate.
But if he is, then that shows me they got a shit ton of confidence in him.
'Cause he's
and it was
electric.
just two very bad instances of it. It couldn't have happened any worse time for him.
That man was down bad.
tough.
Hands on head on
It's
turf.
tough.
That's a tough
It's
feeling.
tough. And like we said, because I would like to stress on something like that again. As much as people are saying, and I watched it, but I don't know what was shown on TV. So, like, I don't have a clue of what it looked like on TV. I haven't seen the game yet on TV. But as much as I've heard people say it looked like Kayshawn was, like, not interested in the game, What I did see was literally him walking step by step, shoulder to shoulder, hand around Malik after the second fumble. If you can get that out of him and to show that in himself the entire time too, then we're talking about something completely different too.
Bring that to the field.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So,
What's she doing over there?
I'm getting a lot of text messages from a lot of different people. I've gotten text message from somebody who really knows a lot about a lot.
Oh, I was texting you
and
earlier.
And the inside stuff. That blocked PAT was not Mason Taylor's fault.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Was it Blake Ferguson?
No. Not Blake Ferguson, but not Mason Taylor's fault. So, just want everybody not to blame him. It was not his fault. And I know that from
Are you
somebody
gonna-
who's... Huh?
Are you going to tell us?
No. I'm not going to tell you who told me that.
Oh.
That's journalism 101, bro. I can't tell you who your sources are.
No, whose fault was it?
Oh, I don't know that. I didn't get told. I'm waiting for the response. That's why I'm in the middle of this conversation.
Okay.
But that was not that was not his mistake on the blocked PAT. So don't blame him. Speaking of Mason Taylor, I think he had
Savvy sold separately. Talk about your dad being an NFL player and him
knowing
being
where
able
to
get out
go.
of bounds.
I mean, listen. I think you saw obviously that.
whereas that played the other side of the ball too, so like that wasn't really his
I know, but just being around, football. Is
His
what
first
I'm saying.
game, his first game in prime time, he's got 5 catches in some big moments. Like he's going to be a stud for us.
Yeah.
When do you think you see LSU start incorporating it? I don't want to say another tight end, but Jack Vesh was nowhere to be seen.
The other guy did play a lot. 87 did play a lot.
Mashburn
Yeah. He
or
played
Cole
good.
Taylor?
I think it's Cole Taylor.
Yeah, it's
Cole
Cole
Taylor.
Taylor.
He played a lot. I would, and I don't look. It's not that I'm downing whoever Cole Taylor is as a player and how he plays, but I just feel like Jack's physical enough to where if we can get some of that, what they're looking for in Cole Taylor, if we can get that out of Jack and also be able to leak him out in routes and fake a block here, drag him.
Listen, Jack's gonna
over
be
him and all of that stuff, I think that'll.
There's
you
an
know,
average-
I'm sure they have that in there, and I don't know if that was. I don't know why he didn't play or wasn't involved as much this game, but I think he's got to get more involved.
and he
if
will
they
be.
want it. Yeah.
I think that he will be. I think he's going to
Yeah.
have a great year. I think he's going to have a lot of big moments. Like you said, I don't know why. I mean, I will try to find those answers out. I don't know why he did not play as much as we thought he was going to play. But the one thing we haven't really hit on, I mean, we talked a little bit about it, but not as much as we needed to talk about it, is that we have to get a legitimate running game. Like,
I don't want to talk about it because that, to me that's like the boogeyman right now.
Yeah.
Because from what I saw, I'm like, man, I don't.
and then people
Doesn't
kept,
give me a good feeling.
So here's the thing. I was after the game. People kept talking to me like, we didn't even try to run the ball. Like, we tried.
We tried. I think we tried too long.
We tried a little bit early on, but
I
like
think we tried a little too long.
we saw that we weren't getting anything, and then we got behind and we had to move the ball. And like, here's the thing: those same people that say we didn't try to run the ball, what happens if we turn around, hand the ball off 2 or 3 times? We get 3 or 4 yards and we're punting.
Right.
2 possessions in a row. Now we need to stop trying to run the ball and need to throw the ball. Like, there's got to be a balance. There's got to be you got to not pick one or the other. But hey, it's not working. Let's try to find something else. And maybe moving the ball through the air is going to let the running game
I'll
go.
say this too. Maybe not their entire defense. I think Brian Kelly touched on it. Maybe their defensive front was a little better than we all anticipated him to be.
I think the offensive line just wasn't as sharp as
Front,
maybe.
I said, just the front.
Yeah.
There was a couple guys that that played very well. So maybe their front was a little bit better than what we all thought they would be. And, because you got to understand, like, dude, that's also what happens, too, at a lot of these schools when it comes to SEC, non-SEC, whatever. Like, maybe they had a couple guys up front, and maybe the rest of it is where it kind of dips for them a lot, right?
They got a couple cats from Louisiana. Old Florida State does. No big deal. Put a fence around the state. But I want to
That's not the issue, but go
I
ahead.
mean, I guess they climbed over it.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy that was killing us, he transferred in from Albany in New York. So.
yeah, but
not
it's
a
from
real
it,
guy.
He had bad grades in high school. What are you talking
he graduated early. No,
They're competing with Albany.
But I don't think I don't know what to make of what happened at quarterback in terms of 1A, 1B, when you have Jaden Daniels throwing for 45 yards in the first half. I'm not saying that there should be a change because I think Jaden did as good as you can. Like, I think that was probably the best case scenario in terms of which one to put there. But when you try to put 2 and 2 together in terms of, all right, it feels like LSU doesn't have a running game, right? Can we all agree on that? I don't know how
Right
much
now.
John Emery can fix that.
It's offensive line. It comes from the offensive line.
Right. when we get down to it, is there a more of an avenue? Maybe you want to get the ball to your playmakers earlier instead of Jane Daniels having to run for his life because there's an SEC schedule where
that's
you
what
ain't
they-
being able to take off up the middle for
sure
10 weeks.
But yeah, absolutely. But Jaden Daniels started getting the ball out to the receivers earlier towards the end of the game. Who's to say Jaden Daniels can't do that? I'm not saying
Well,
he
you
needs
saw
to
it
be
early on where he double
yeah, of
clutched a
course.
ton.
And then what happened later on?
What I think we talked about this a little bit before the show, where it was a byproduct of maybe a little bit of off coverage, like you have to go 99
The last
yards.
drive, not the other ones. Not the other ones when he threw the drag right across the middle and a touchdown. First touchdown.
Of course. I mean, there's going to be times when he can do it. Of
But
course,
he
protection.
he started doing a lot more consistently towards the end of the game.
Yeah.
He got better as the game went on.
No, I'm not asking that you should take him out. I'm saying, is there more? Why was there so much 1A, 1B talk?
I mean, I'm sure he thought it was 1A, 1B, but he looked at
said they're both going to play.
But he looked at the game and he said, I cannot put Nussmeier back there like a statue on the offensive line isn't blocking anybody right now. Like, he looked at the game and said, boy, our only running game and a lot of our best plays right now are broken plays and because our quarterback can run.
Right. And look, we lost the turnover game too, and I keep talking about this because once again, it's things that for me are encouraging in a way is that we lost the turnover game because we had 2 muff punts. One thing that we didn't do when everyone in the world thought, hey, he can't throw, he won't be efficient thrower, he isn't good enough. We threw no picks. We fumbled nothing on offense.
78% of his passes.
We didn't give the ball away on offense. Like that, I get it. You know what I mean? Like that, for a guy that was under pressure a lot in the game, for a guy that we said had happy feet, for a guy that we said was looking to get out of the pocket and do stuff, he didn't throw the ball away. We didn't give it away on offense. To me, that means something.
Right.
To me, that shows me
And
something.
he was accurate enough with the passing that
because I'll be damned if we sit here and say, oh, we're going to fumble, we're going to muff a punt or 2 every game. I don't really think that's going to happen.
Right.
So for me, those are encouraging signs to me.
Of course. Did he make some throws? Did he miss some throws?
Yeah, he missed some throws.
Absolutely.
Of course he did.
But did he make some throws? Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
He's going to get better. It's his first game in a new system with a new team.
But it wasn't so much missing the throws; it was the not trusting what you're seeing,
Right.
and then that makes you call plays a little bit differently. I would imagine if you're a Mike Denbrock, where you're like, "Hey, the read's open; it's there." But he looked at a couple double slants where he's like, he's open, and then he went to the backside one.
Of course.
And that happens. But I'm just wondering if we're not going to be able to run the ball consistently, which it doesn't seem. I don't know how much John Emery can fix that. I know he's good, but that's more of an offensive line thing. I'm wondering, what's the strength of the LSU football team? Would you say? On the offensive
I mean, it's
end.
the wide receivers, but you have to be able to get the ball to the wide
That's
receivers
what I'm
because
saying.
you need time to do it. But what is given, like, my thing is just because Nussmeier gets the ball out quick, why are you saying Jaden can't get it out quick? He showed you that he can do it at the end of the game. Would we not agree that he got better as the game went on?
Absolutely.
So,
yeah.
What is to say that he can't do it moving? I'm not saying I'm picking him over Nuss. I like Nuss. I think Nuss is going to be a hell of a quarterback. I would like him to be the starter, but with the offensive line the way that it is, and the fact that, like, I don't think just putting him in is going to make a big difference right now. Like, if you can solidify the offensive line, maybe. But if Jaden showed you, okay, he has the ability when he has to throw, everybody in the building knows he's throwing. I don't care if it's off coverage or not. He's able to get the ball out and throw it. Let's see. Now, if he shows you that he can't, make a change. But he showed you that he was able to get better as the game went on.
I don't think he played bad at all.
No, and I'll just say this too, and this is why for me, it's hard for me to believe that had you put Nussmeier in the game this entire game that there would have been a different outcome or a better performance on offense. Because for me, even when he was making these plays on his feet, taking off too early, he kept us in manageable down and distances for a whole lot of that first part, and we just never were converted early on. Right? So, like, even with him pulling it down, taking off and running, he was still getting a lot of positive yardage.
6 and 8 yards a pop.
So whether it's because he ain't throwing it or not, when we're sitting here at 3rd and 4 and we're not getting the first downs or whatever, and we're having a punt and we're not continuing these drives, he still kept putting us in good positions.
But my only point to that was it's not sustainable. Like, I wouldn't imagine that you can do that.
Well, we didn't even sustain it in that game.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
I get it. We agree that it's not sustainable, but give him the opportunity to say, okay, I made some progress from the first half to the second half. Let's see if I can make progress from the next game to next game. Let's see by the third or fourth game.
Like I said,
how much better
it
am I
went
gonna
from
be?
him, dropping back, taking off to the game that the throw that, pretty much put us in there. It was
Best throw of the day.
It was best throw of the day. It was literally the last progression of the read. So if I'm doing that quick in one game, I feel good about his progression to be able to be better game 2 and be able to keep getting better quickly.
And maybe some of that's making him have some easy throws early on and get him in a rhythm. I don't know what the answer is. I'm not an offensive coordinator. But I know that
Wait,
once
what?
I'm not an offensive coordinator.
Oh.
What'd you think I said?
Yeah, of course you're not.
But like you saw when he started making some short throws and getting guys and getting the ball out of his hand and started getting a few completions, the rhythm and the timing and everything started becoming a lot better.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
I
showed you
with
that he could do it.
I think with the pressure that they were putting on us like that, and especially with it coming from the middle of the field, earlier on in the game, we should have gotten these short, shallow crossing routes more into play. As they started getting that into play, things started loosening up a lot more. And I think we should have gone to that a lot sooner. We didn't. We took us a while to kind of go through it. We're kind of trying to push people a little bit vertically. We should have started crossing routes earlier and kind of gotten things going like that.
We had some flashes. Not near enough flashes. We had some flashes. It's not a doomsday scenario.
No, not at all.
No.
A lot of people are.
I'm not moving off.
Apparently-
I'm not moving off my preseason prediction.
Apparently, Brody Miller wrote an article in The Athletic that was about as negative and doomsday as you can get. Apparently, that's what I haven't read it yet, but I got a text. Said, thank you for this show. It's too many doomsday people out there. The Brody Miller article was
Just
tough.
DEFCON 5. See, I'm not there yet, and even me,
I really don't
I've said
understand
what
how
I've
you can be
said.
there from seeing that.
Yeah.
I just don't understand it.
You don't know football.
I think Brody covers the team. I'm sure he knows football,
Not
but
like he does.
Where's that game? Where's that game without 2 muff punts? And I'm not picking on Malik when I say this, but where's that game without 2 muff punts?
because
I mean,
that's less plays, less time on the defense. Yeah.
My point for saying that is that we're literally looking at an SEC team, dude. Like, find me an SEC team that's over and over doing that game after game after game. Where's that game without that? So it's hard for me to. It's hard. What you got? No, say it for real because
you got to find some semblance of a run game that's not just your quarterback.
Of course.
I agree, but we're not talking about that. I'm literally
course.
That's what
saying.
I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying. It could have been
Yeah,
a free
first
now.
game.
I agree with that.
It's the first game that comes with saying, okay, you know what? The offensive line was always going to be an issue. We didn't know if the run game was going to be good. Give the offensive line opportunity to develop a running game. It wasn't going to be good the first game. That's the game plan. You got to figure it out on the fly in the middle of the game.
2 muff
Of course.
punts and a flea flicker, and you beat us by 1.
And we played shitty.
And we did not play great. And
That
I
might
get
be
it.
the worst
I
they
get
play
it.
all
You missed
year.
field goals, blah, 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 blah. So, like, you didn't put together a perfect game either. 2 muff punts and a field goal. And I'm sorry, and a flea flicker, and you beat us by 1. I don't understand how
Speaking
you
of
look
field
at that
goal, let's
game.
talk about that field goal that guy kicked and it was short.
Oh, dude, he duffed it.
He hit it fat.
He hit it fat.
Oh, yeah. I think he got some grass on
He hit
that.
he hit the grass first.
My toe hurt. He's got turf toe today.
Dude, he
Almost as bad as the guy's halftime kick.
Oh, that was the worst.
Did y'all watch that?
Yes.
Did they show it on TV? Or you were in the
I
game?
was there,
You were in the
man.
I
game.
tell you what, though, for $1,000, though, I would have been like, man, I don't need this
Hey,
either. Just go ahead
this
and miss
guy
this.
got an opportunity to kick a field goal.
25 yards. That shit didn't
25
get off the
yards
I
for
ground.
couldn't make it.
$1,000. He went toe punch.
It didn't get off the
Did
ground.
not get off the ground. It
He
went
coulda-
sideways
he coulda
spiral.
killed somebody.
Sideways spiral.
If I asked someone to say, hey, I want you to onside kick this ball just like he did, it would be very hard to do it either. Like,
that would
that's
have
how
been a
bad
great
it was.
onside
The-
kick.
the-
Oh,
PA
it's not bad.
guy-
Oh,
That's a
yeah.
kneecapper.
Where you gonna get that?
The
Where's
PA
my
guy
bitch?
goes, it happens, and started laughing on the PA. I was like, oh my God. This guy's getting roasted by the PA guy.
That was a tough jog off the field.
I mean,
right
I
there.
would rather that would be the last thing I'd think I'd want to do if you're trying to.
I'm
get
definitely
me.
not toe punching it.
Well, no, not
No,
even
no.
that. I'm just like, I feel like kicking's kind of hard,
It is.
It is.
and so I don't want to. That's the last thing. If you want me to do anything with a football, like mostly with that one, I'm not going out.
I'm
there.
scoring that from 25 out.
You can do that.
I'm not,
Hell
I'll-
yeah.
I'll admit, I am not toe punching it.
Hey,
though.
cash
That's
my
for
shit
sure.
in. Y'all can give me that check. He missed it. He wasn't even close. That shit
He
didn't
didn't
get
get
off
off the ground.
It didn't get off the ground. I'm
It
not
was
trying
a
to. I'm not trying to be
spiral.
funny. It
It
didn't
was
get
a
off the
spiral
ground.
that
I
went this
saw
way.
it, but I mean, he's probably drunk. I mean,
I
I would
don't care.
imagine.
Drunk. I could do it. Give me that.
Honestly, drunk's probably better. You're not as nervous.
I don't know. The lights are bright.
When you're drunk, you
Ask
don't think
Malik.
about that. You don't think about that when you're drunk.
So we're all okay with LSU still winning more than 7 games.
I think
Yeah.
we won
Yeah.
8.
I told you I'm not getting off my
I
prediction.
still think 8's in play.
I said 8 to 9 before the season started. So that means if they get to 9 now, they're gonna have to steal one somewhere, which I'm not exactly sure where that'll be. So 8's probably the play, but that's where I'm at.
What needs to be in yours mind? What needs to be? What's easily fixable?
Easily fixable.
Because that was LSU kind of
Ball security.
Ball security, special teams, that's fixable.
You never heard the saying, Lloyd?
yeah. Ball security equals job security.
Yours and mine. that's the saying, Lloyd.
But that-
ball
that is
security.
fixing-
The special teams coach is repeating that, right? He probably sent him a text a couple times like, "Hey, I need you."
Need you?
Oh,
You think they've switched?
I'm gonna need a realtor real quick.
The
Yeah.
punt returners?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Sage Ryan will probably be
I
back
think
there.
Sage goes back there too. And I think there's a reason for that, to take some stuff off Malik's plate.
I think you're great right there. I think they need to express it to him that way too. Like, hey, look, we're not saying you can't.
But
We don't want you out there having to feel like you got to prove to people you can catch a punt. Just be great at what you do right here.
Yeah.
You know.
The fact that I know we talked about this at the onset of the show, but them going back to back to him and him
It was hard. It was
catching
both
and
handsy,
breaking
yeah.
tackles. He's
We
like,
didn't
all right,
know that, yeah.
He's very comfortable wide
Yeah,
receiver.
Of course.
And I understand why they put him back there, because you can see what we can do after the catch, but let's just take it off your plate. We're good. We're all right. We took 15 hours. Let's take 12. You're still gonna graduate.
Yeah, I as far as being easy to fix, like obviously there's some things that aren't easy to fix. I think that the thing I'm looking forward to is the adjustment on defense on third downs. I think that is fixable.
I'm glad you brought that up.
I think that is fixable. I don't think that is something that is like, oh my God, like we weren't out of position. We were just maybe a step off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and maybe change a little scheme. I don't know what it is. I think that is going to be fixed. I think that's not easily fixable because that is a buy-in, that is a scheme
Those
thing.
are
but
50-50 things.
that is something that can be fixed. Now, if they were confused, I'd have more skepticism with it, but they weren't.
Yeah.
It was just they were getting,
And if you watch, you remember too, it would be the 3rd and 8s and they got 9. It would be the 3rd and 10s and they got 11. Like, so it wasn't. People were not out of position. We just were not getting home, and we gave them too much time.
yeah. The thing that's going to be the process is the offensive line running game, right? That's going to be the things that I'm talking about. Like, hey, in week 5, our team is significantly better because those things have gotten significant. And if they're not, it's going to be a struggle, right? And I have faith in the background history of Brian Kelly as an offensive line guy, like having an offensive line that has been pretty solid throughout his tenure, and the fact that Brad Davis is a good offensive line coach. Like, I have faith in the fact that those guys are going to develop and be good, right?
Is there any merit to the splitting of the reps at all, to where it's like different cadences? You saw, obviously, on the Keyshawn drop, where it seems like we're not in sync because I've been playing with 2 different quarterbacks, essentially. Offensive line seemed like a step slow. You have a center that's never played center before. You saw a bunch of snaps, low, high, up. Like, it seems like we weren't exactly in flow the entire time. Like, those are things that you hope you can figure out throughout the year the more you play, but because you want continuity. That's what they kind of lack.
Did you watch the game on TV?
Yeah, I watched the condensed version.
Okay, but because you were at the game too, I didn't see those things in person.
Right.
I watched the game different, Jared.
My eyes better than yours.
I watch the game different. I evaluate talent better than I do.
I like it. I respect it.
That was a great answer.
I respect
That's a
it.
great answer.
Me and Mike Mayock.
Oh, Mike don't have a job though. That's tough.
Hey, just hire me and pay me and fire me.
I
Let me fool you. Yeah, me and Merrill Hodges and Sal Palantonio.
To answer your question though, I don't know if that's an issue at all because
Well, definitely, they looked out of sync.
yeah, but I don't know if it's because of cadence. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, to answer your question, like, I don't know if that's the issue. Like, of course, like, it was the first game they didn't play as synchronized as you wanted them to be, as we all wanted them to play. I don't think that's lack of talent though. I think that's just lack of experience. Maybe it's lack of playing together. That's not having, it's just not playing under this specific type of scheme, right? I think that's going to get better the more they play. I mean, anything you do in life, the more times you do it, the more experience you have in it, the better you get at it. So I think that, of course, you went there. That's where first.
We got a lot of new people, and I'm not. I'm not giving them like a pass. Like I'm really not. But there's a lot of new people coming from a lot of different places
that hadn't been in the same place together.
The same place for the first time together.
It's like going to dinner.
Just is what it is. One of the top schools with the most transfers, new coaching staff, and it's not like they all just came from the same spot. There's a lot of new people, man.
And
a lot of new people. Like I don't think people realize.
Even some of your new people can't play. Joe Fuchsia, what the hell?
Yeah, listen. A lot of academic issues are rolling over from the years last year.
Why is this still a thing? Like these are paid essentially professionals, right?
You still have to make grades. You can't just take away school. Athlete. I mean,
Lloyd, we graduated.
That's the case.
A lot of things other than sports.
If that's the case, you're playing.
Are you looking at the poster right here, Lloyd? We graduate champions, okay?
Graduate champions.
Student athlete.
Well, Arkansas didn't. Jesus, they gave us a shit sandwich. Like, let this guy be academically eligible.
Speaking of Arkansas, you saw McLaughlin got an interception.
Looked good too.
Except he got.
He should have brought that to the house.
He got caught. I don't know, man. That's tough that we lose another guy, especially in the secondary. He's out for 4 games though. At least he's out for the season. I mean.
I don't even understand what that means. Like, hey, you're ineligible academically, so you only get 4 games.
There we go.
So he's gonna miss one. He's gonna miss one.
Yeah, why is it 4?
He's missing. He's missing Mississippi State. Is the biggest game.
Why not 15 like Emory?
I don't know. I guess some of his stuff.
I love that. Yeah, I mean the NCAA's really got it buttoned up.
I guess some of his credits didn't transfer over. I don't know.
4 games worth?
I don't know. I don't know how
that goes.
Don't know how it happens.
You
go for it.
No.
I wanted this show to be more positive than probably a lot of the other shows have been.
I feel like we have been.
No, yeah.
I didn't care which one it was. I just wanted to tell the truth about it. And I personally really didn't feel like
this isn't false positivity on me.
I didn't feel like it was doom and gloom like I feel like a lot of people felt like. I didn't feel like
listen, if it was awful, and after UCLA, it was hard to be optimistic. It was hard to say, okay, like there was a lot of trust on a new defensive coordinator to get them right because there was a lot of confusion.
That didn't want to go to practice.
What?
Bo Pelini was like notoriously.
No, that wasn't Bo Pelini last year.
No, UCLA.
Oh, UCLA, yeah.
He was notoriously late.
How does that happen?
He didn't even talk to him before he hired him.
How do you late to practice as a defensive coordinator?
I don't know, man.
But
I got respect for Bo. I don't know, so I don't really.
I got respect for him being late.
I don't know what happened on the second trip on the second go around.
But
I don't know what happened.
Fuck it.
Wasn't the guy that I knew before.
The way it looked,
Call him.
And the issues I saw made it more doom and gloom for me, and it was hard to be positive. It was almost like false positivity. This is not the case for me this year. I feel like this game there was a lot of things that I wish were better, but it wasn't like, oh my God, we have no clue what we're doing. It's like, all right, we knew this was going to be a process. And
Is Florida State good?
I think they're better than people think that they were going. I think they're going to have a winning record.
I think they're going to
this year.
compete more than they did the last couple of years. If they, pull games out in the end, I don't know.
I think they're going to have a winning record this year.
Because last year, a bunch of people convinced themselves, like, well, actually, maybe UCLA is good.
Yeah.
And it was like, well.
That did happen. I don't, and so I guess that was fool's gold. I do think that this Florida State team I don't think they're, like, good. But I think that they're going to be competitive in that league.
Yeah. Like, I think they can win 7 or 8 games this year. Like, I think that they're more physical than UCLA was.
When we looked at what happened because of what we expect here, when we looked at what happened at UCLA, you're like, shit, they might come out of the Pac-12 as the champs. I don't look at Florida State that way, but I do think they'll compete and be better in that league.
I agree.
When you saw what UCLA did to us last year, you're like, oh God, they're great.
When I say the word rebuild, does it feel like a rebuild at LSU?
No.
Because it's going to take 2 or 3 years.
Rebuild.
But
3 years they're
not
going to
a
be
rebuild.
competing. Though.
It feels
Rebuild in terms of getting to the national championship level.
Yes.
It feels more of like a
reset,
like a restructure type of thing. Like, I don't want to call it like a rebuild as far as like, okay, we have.
I don't think you had to knock it all the way down.
Right.
You just,
right. Like a rebuild is like, hey, let's.
It's
let's
more
start from
Jenga
scratch.
than
you had to
anything.
go inside and address some stuff.
Yeah.
That's
Like
all.
right now, we're filling some holes, and then
Renovate.
We're gonna renovate going into next year.
Yeah, that's all.
And I think going into next year, I think you're gonna finally start to see like the structure, and by year 3, you're gonna be like, all right, now we've got the complete buy-in. We got exactly what we want and how we want to do it. Hopefully it happens quicker. Hopefully this year it happens a lot earlier.
Comfy.
And comfy, sweatpants.
Stay a while.
Just got his shoes off.
I have slides. They're right here.
Nice clean socks though. Those came straight
Dead
out the pack.
Soxy, 20% off.
Those
Promo
came
code
straight out the
So
pack.
I got a
15.
fantasy draft that's starting at 7:30. I'm the 6th pick. Couldn't be worse.
Yeah, it's
Who
a
do you
tough
want?
spot.
I don't even know.
Who's-
The
12
sixth
teams?
pick couldn't be the worst spot.
12 teams?
12 teams.
Is
Right
Jordan,
the
is
middle.
Jordan Jefferson in your league?
Jordan?
Yeah.
Well, Jordan's not in the NFL, so.
No, is he in your league?
Like.
No, yeah, thank you, Mikey.
Well, I thought you meant drafting Jordan Jefferson. It's like, well, I think you meant Justin, but no. Jordan Jefferson's not in my league.
What happened to him? Where'd
I
he
don't
go?
know. He disappeared on us.
He might be trying to get some more good service.
He was where does he live?
I don't know. It looked like he was like outside
in
of
the
like a
sticks.
camp or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it is teal season. If you saw Miles Brennan,
Oh, he
I'm
posted
sure I'll
about
hear
that.
back from him.
he's out there.
Hey, man. Distractions. But yeah, I'm the 6th pick. We don't have to go all the way to the end today. This is a different type of show today.
Dude, I
Labor
saw
Day
a
special.
guy.
Labor Day.
I saw a guy walking to my car last night to leave to drive back this early and be here for 5 a.m.
What?
I saw a guy walk. We were obviously I had to walk back to my car back to Lucy's. I saw a guy go full on, not trip, face plant.
Oof.
Just was done, coach. Face
Oof.
first into the pavement.
Curb or like what got him? What took his body?
Nothing. That's what I'm saying. He just was. It's over.
Ooh, he just missed
He
his
just
step.
went. He got tranquilized.
You want to hear about me and Jay Mitch's night last night?
I wish I was a part of it.
No, you don't.
No, you don't.
No, you don't.
So
No, you don't.
we walk into this establishment. Well, first of all,
Strip club.
no.
Jesus.
First of all,
Establishment is
first
one
of
thing
all,
and one thing only.
we ate one meal the entire day. And
I didn't
at,
eat
like,
it all
It
either.
was like at 4:30. Thank you, L Club.
El Club was huge.
Thank you, L Club, because that was the only food that we could get, or we got to.
What'd they give you?
We got it. They had some
Put in
shredded
balls?
chicken. They had some
Thank you, El Club. Thank you, Brittany
Pork.
Ernest. Thank you for your help.
yes,
It was
yes,
great, yeah.
some mac and cheese. It was it hit the
Oh.
spot. Hit the spot.
Yeah.
So then we go there, go to the game, eat a little bit of popcorn. That is it. We don't even. This is the first time. This is no joke. I didn't leave my seat the entire game. I didn't go. I didn't leave at halftime.
You didn't have to pee?
Didn't leave one time. It was I don't know what happened, but it didn't. Anyway, so I didn't eat. So then we leave. We're walking back, and they had to go stop at their place. We went to meet some friends for a drink, and we were gonna meet up. So I'm looking on my phone trying to figure out what we're gonna eat. Nothing's open. Sunday night, like nothing's open. So I'm like, oh man, this is not good. So I texted them and said, there's a couple pizza spots. All right, let's meet at this one pizza establishment. We go there. They show up. We show up basically at the same time. Line is long, small place. We walk in, and we're like the last people that they come in that they're going to give food to because they're so backed up in orders. We get to the lady up front, and she's like, only personal pizzas. So we're like, all right, we had 6
Every
people.
pizza is a personal pizza if
We're
you want it
like,
to be.
we want 6 personal
I heard that.
pepperoni pizzas.
Or you could just make a large.
And we're like, she's like, all right, 6. So we go sit down, and we're like, all right, it's going to be a little while because there's a lot of people there, but they've been there for a little bit. Coach, we were in there for 2 hours.
2.
They didn't even put the orders in the back. They closed the door. They started shutting down. We ended up being the last people in there before they started letting other people show back up. We had people. You had the girl that was working the door yelling at the cashier, working together. So they're screaming at each other.
All
Then you
on
had the girl in the
drugs.
back screaming in the back, not on drugs, just pissed off, screaming at the cooks in the back.
Very unhappy.
We were in there. She goes, hey, 6 personal pepperoni pizzas. We need them now. They've been here for 17 hours. And she goes, I heard you. No, you didn't. You needed, what's her name, Mary? I thought,
Mary.
I
She
thought
got on that Mary, yes.
I think Mary needed a reminder. So she kept backing
refresher.
us up. A refresher. I think Mary needed a refresher. Meanwhile, this whole time we're waiting on our food, there's these sorority girls sitting
I don't know
next
how I
to
didn't
us.
take it. This is like it was straight barstool worthy. Like I should have taken. I
Hey.
should have taken video of this because this girl
It was
sat
a, it was a
here.
magic trick.
I have never seen a female eat with less shame than she ate with that day. She didn't even look
Pizza?
up. I don't even. If you, I think she felt like she was in a room by herself when no one was there.
Oh,
Oh, she had pizza, wings, everything. But this is how it went.
the lights
though.
were on, but nobody was home.
Oh no! Like I saw her go full wing, full flat in her mouth, pull it out, just bones. Multiple she ate that way. I see her go.
Turned you on a little bit?
Stop. I see her go. No, because you're not
Hey.
listening to what I'm saying. I
not
see her
joking,
go
this is-
dip her finger into the wing sauce, come up with wing sauce up to the second
Up to
knuckle,
the knuckle?
slob it down. So look, I'm watching this go on, and I'm like, oh my god, Lloyd, this is the best part. I'm watching this going. I'm like, look at this girl. She is going
Don't
ham.
give a fuck.
And then she open. I'm thinking, so you see all that, you're like, oh, it's the end of the night. Like she's still hungry.
Done?
She has no more meal left. She opens up the pizza box. There's 3 pizzas left
Yeah.
in there still. I'm like,
Dude.
damn, she's sticking fingers in wing sauce. She still got 3 pizzas. So she pulls a pizza out, dips it in ranch, big bite. She ain't even finished chewing, dips the pizza in the wing sauce, big bite. Eats 3 pieces, done, right? Closes that box, closes the wing box.
This is Joey
Hey.
Chestnut's daughter.
Hey, it's
2 minutes
unbelievable.
2 minutes later, opens back up the wing box, finger back in the sauce.
Hey,
She did it 6 times. She opened the wing box up 6 different times, and I'm like, bro, this is not real life.
this
There's
is
no
no
way
joke.
I'm seeing this.
This is no joke. When I think we were there for 2 hours, I think she was eating for 45 minutes straight.
Unbelievable. It was unbelievable.
It
and then she had
was.
the nerve to say, hey, I need to go wash my hands. I'm like, wash them?
You've been
Now you want to wash them?
sucking knuckles all
She
night.
needed a shower.
I'm like, ooh, you nasty.
Oh, you nasty. Oh, you nasty.
It was, man.
Hey,
it was,
then we almost had. So the lady that was working, that was stopping the door, basically not letting people go. She had to go to the front, so she got someone to come and relieve her. This girl almost gets in a fight with the other girl, starts pulling her hair up, and I'm like, me and Jay,
oh, we
she
thought we
goes,
was going to see it all.
I'm like, oh, we're about to see a fight. We're about to see these 2 girls, like, because they're yelling at each other. And I'm like, this is about to be outrageous. And that was our night. That's how it ended.
We were
Oh, also, 2 Florida State dudes, older guys, sitting down, came in after us, sitting down. They don't say a word. They're smashed. And,
Smiling the whole time.
yeah, smashed.
bro,
right?
they had the.
Yeah.
It was going in
Yeah,
there.
they did. They had it cooking. But
All of them need
so they're
Tommy
sitting
John.
down there. The lady looks at us, looks at them, gives them 2
How they jerk
pizzas.
off.
Gives them 2 pizzas that they didn't even pay for.
Just gave
Someone
it to
else's
them.
pizzas.
Yeah.
She just took. I'm
Well,
like,
I think that girl was full.
you couldn't give us those pizzas. Like we've been here
Doesn't
for an
matter.
hour.
You know who wanted them?
She would have eaten anything.
It was crazy.
She would have eaten the knuckles if she could. If she didn't have. Oh my god, I've never seen anything like it.
I wonder
saw-
how many fights there were on Bourbon
I
Street.
was about to tell you what I was walking back, and there was obviously that started to happen between Florida State LSU, and they're jawing, and I was like, "Ain't none of y'all gonna do? Y'all can't walk," and they're jawing back and forth. Some guy walks, you're not supposed to walk green light. Walks in the middle of the street, and he goes, "Please fucking hit me with your car." After the LSU loss, LSU fan, he goes, "Just fucking kill me." He goes, "I'm here, hit me." And he's like, "Bro, I'm not gonna run you over." He's like, "All right." And then he walked back on the other side. I was like, "We
All
gotta go
right.
home, dude. It's time to go."
All right.
All right.
T minus 45 seconds, boys.
That's when it starts.
I
That's
got
at your
one.
pick.
When it starts.
I got one. My fault, not my fault.
Okay.
Brought
This
to you
is-
by.
Jordy Collada.
Brought to you by Dozy Place.
He plays. I may have had the equipment in my car. I may have parked next to Lucy's. I may not have locked my car. And he took it all out and pretended like it got stolen this morning. And I was like, oh.
Wow.
Bad. I came in. I was like, I don't feel too good, coach. They took my golf clubs and all the stuff. And he was like, no, it's in there. He's like, lock your car.
Wow.
I go, good lesson to learn.
That's a great lesson learned.
Felt bad.
That is your fault.
Lloyd, you still leave your car unlocked all the time?
It's unlocked right now.
Especially in New Orleans.
That's
what are you
the
doing?
kicker. It's New Orleans' fault, not my fault.
What are you doing?
I mean,
I'm just living.
you're not in the same car you were in. You're in a nicer car.
Lloyd doesn't love to dot his I's and cross his T's. He's not a big fan.
It did not feel good.
Wow. Okay, so this league is 2 quarterback league.
Oh. You should go quarterback first. then.
They Josh Allen went first.
I'm about to say, what are you doing? You got to go quarterback first.
Take who do you want?
I'm not going quarterback first. I'm gonna go. My second and third round picks probably gonna be
Oh,
quarterback.
did you learn from his draft when he went 3 straight running backs? He's gonna dominate.
You feel me? Have PPR.
I love my team in that league.
Mm.
Patrick Mahomes just
You're gonna
won.
probably, you might go in last. You might come in last in the league in the draft on Friday.
Boy, I do not love my position. I hate this.
2-8,
This
Jameis,
league's tough
2-8.
because of all
Joe
the,
Burrow,
all
Justin
the
Herbert.
quarterbacks. Am I drafting a quarterback with my first pick?
But they're all gonna take one.
I just told you, yeah.
You have to follow the trend.
2-8, Jameis. 2-8.
Fuck.
That's all he was worried about. I love that Chris just worries about playing me.
I love that you went in the corner.
Yeah, he's by himself.
You like my spot right there?
Mm.
All right, so Justin Herbert's the best quarterback available, or Lamar Jackson.
Why you say that like that's a bad thing?
What about Joe Burrow?
As far as points, Joe Burrow's 3-0. I mean,
Justin Herbert's fake.
Lamar's probably a better pick. He has the
Contract
most-
year for
most-
Lamar.
Up 20 pounds
Who
of
do you
muscle.
think?
Most touchdowns in the
Who do you
NFL
think?
since he's been in there.
I would go Herbert.
me too.
Burrow. Jaden Daniels.
Garrett Nussmeier.
Ooh,
Ooh, Miles Brennan.
Miles Brennan.
I saw somebody tweet. They're like, "Does Miles Brennan still love football?" I was like, "What the hell do you think would happen if Miles was back there?"
Jordan
Then
Jefferson
he
is
got
still
sacked
in
12
this call.
times. Wait, what?
It's still connected, but no audio.
What is?
I don't know what happened. Where does Jordan Jefferson live?
New Orleans.
No, he's coaching somewhere, isn't he?
They are
They run
running
the
a
training
facility.
facility.
Yeah, they run a training facility. in New
Does he
Orleans.
hunt?
I don't know. He might have been hunting today.
All right. No
Good
curtain.
show.
No curtain calls today.
Curtain call.
Brian Polian.
No.
No.
The opposite of a curtain call.
Yeah. Call your daddy. Figure it out.
I don't know how that happens, Coach.
All right. We'll see y'all again on Wednesday, 6 to 8 p.m. Thank y'all for tuning in.
Good
happy,
show.
Happy Labor Day. I thought it was a good show.
120 people.
Really?
We popping.
There we go. Look, I think I just positivity is key. It's not fake positivity either. It's
We apologize for the Jordan Jefferson.
yeah. Apologize for that. That's not on us this time. I can promise you that.
We'll
Thank
get
you,
him on
man.
soon.
We'll get him back on
We'll get
for
him on
sure. I
soon,
think
yeah.
he'll have some good perspective.
Today would have been great to hear from him too.
Yeah, we'll get him back on. All right. Y'all tune in again on Wednesday. Thank y'all for showing up. Happy Labor Day. Sorry about the loss. Be positive. It's not all doomsday. We're gonna have the team's going to figure it out. I am very confident in that. I think it's going to see a different product in the weeks to come.
Jared Mitchell's going to talk to Kayshawn. They're going to split
Yeah.
away.
You're watching.
We're on it. We're on it.
You're watching
We're
Mike.
devising a plan.
Yeah.
You're watching Mike. Brought to you by Sterling Automotive. Please share, like, tell a friend,
Subscribe.
subscribe, and
Listen.
Post,
learn.
repost.
Yeah, we have podcasts, Apple and Spotify, all of the above, all of the places that you like to get your information. We got it. See you on Wednesday. Peace.
Over under win total right now.
I think it's over 7 still. I think they
8 and 4.
I think they go 8 and 4.
Over 7.
10 and 2.
Wow.